Hi guys, welcome. In the morning I will be heading out for my first hybrid fitness competition of the year, a Spartan DEKA Mile. Now, for those of you that don't know what a Spartan DEKA Mile is, it is essentially a 10 exercise station hybrid fitness competition. In between each of those exercises, you need to run off and do a 160-meter run and come back and do the next one. The idea is you do the entire lot, all 10 exercises, all 10 runs as fast as you can. Now, if you've been on my channel before, you would have seen content about DEKA. You'd have seen simulations and fitness tests and atlas. But the truth is, I've only actually been and gone and done one. So I've not done many of these. In fact, it was an entire year ago. And when I went and did it, over in Caveman Training in Stoke, I had absolutely no idea what to expect. I had no idea how to pace myself, what speed to go, and I suffered at various points through that test. I got a 24:24 or something like that, and obviously that's the time I'm going to be looking at to beat. Now, a year ago is quite a long time in terms of fitness. You know, I've been fatter, I've been thinner, I've been faster, I've been slower, I've been more muscly, I've been less muscly. A lot has happened in a year, and some people assume that fitness is linear, that you're just always getting fitter. It's not necessarily the truth. The truth of it is I just don't know how fit I am relative to this time last year. In fact, this competition will tell me that. I will know exactly where I am compared to this time last year when I get my time at the end. And that will allow me then to adjust my training for subsequent events. So the idea is that I will head out, I will register, I will pick this video up from the gym, and we'll get some nice race day footage and a bit of narration therefore after. Right, let's go. And I am here at the Hampton Health and Fitness Club for my go at the Spartan DEKA Mile. Now, like a lot of DEKA events, they are held at DEKA affiliated gyms. So these are gyms that just subscribe to be a DEKA affiliate. It allows them to put on competitions like this. The entire event today is being held outside actually in the sort of car parking area, and that's not uncommon at DEKA events because they don't always have the space inside to really spread out and put on a proper event. Luckily, the weather today is actually quite nice. It's about 10 degrees, the sun is almost shining, there's no rain, and it's not as bitterly cold as it has been. So fingers crossed I won't overheat. It's just about the sweet spot for temperature. We've got all of the equipment laid out one after another, and the way these DEKA events work is that you get allocated a referee, and they stay with you through all 10 exercises. As you go out onto each of the runs, they will move on to the next exercise so you know which one to go to, though it's always good to know which one you go into. For me, my event is in about half an hour's time, so I'm going to go get registered, I'm going to go get ready, take a few selfies and get to the start line. So this is the part of the video where I show you my race day footage. So I'll just set the scene. Think of a gym with a big car park, and down one side of the car park you've got exercise stations 1 through 5, and on the other side 6 through 10. And up the middle you've got a running track, an 80-meter out and back, and you must enter and exit through the head of that running track. Everything else is just transitional running. Okay, so I got issued my referee, a nice man with a clipboard, and I got to the start line. And on 3, 2, 1, I was off. My very first run was really quite quick. I was very sprightly and excited to get going. Down to the back, a bit of a sharp sort of handbrake turn at the bottom, and then sprint back up to the top. Now, I ran straight into station 1, and I was immediately confused. There was 3 rams on the ground, all standing upright, and I couldn't see any markings on them as to which was which. So I was a little bit unsure. I wasted a few seconds. I turned to the ref, which one is it? Which one is it? And he said that one, and I was immediately starting to do my lunges. Instead of putting it over one shoulder, I decided to put it over both just for stability. I've seen people do it over one. In fact, I tried to do it at one last year and didn't do very well. So I put it over both, and this was much better. I was able to rep through these really quite quickly. Once I'd done my reps, I was to drop the thing and straight back up to the head of the running track and straight back down for run number 2. Now, my running was actually really quite consistent. My speed was sort of the same throughout. I guess my first one was a little bit quicker. As I returned into station 2, I just left the row set up out completely as it was. I left the straps loose and I left the damper as it was, and I just started pulling. Now when I got there, I think the machine was off, so the first couple of pulls were waking it up, so a couple of extra seconds were lost there, and it was all about settling into a pace. Once you've got it up to speed, it's about finding what pace works for you, and I got this down to about 1:45, and I was able to hold that throughout the duration, so that meant that by the time I hit 500 it was at about 1 minute 45 seconds. So jumped off off the row, making sure to run those additional transitions into the running funnel, because lots of little times add up to big time in the end. Again, my third run, again, very consistent. I was still able to run at pace. Those two exercises do leave you with slightly jelly legs, so it's important just to battle through that to get round to the next thing. Station 3 was the box overs. Now this is something that I've been working on from a technique perspective. It's about touching both feet on either side of the box, but both feet on top as well. So you kind of have this little tap, step tap kind of situation happening. It looks a bit dainty when you watch it. Certainly a big fella trying to go over a box quickly, it's not particularly pretty. Anyway, I felt like I'd made quite a lot of improvement on this station this time round, and I got through these really quite quickly. Back out for my fourth run, and again keeping that consistency quite high. I was able to run down and run back relatively quickly into the med ball sit-ups. Now I consider this station, if any, to be the one where it feels like a bit of a rest. This station is simply smashing the ball between your legs, smashing it above your head until you've finished all of the reps. It's about a 9-kilo ball and it's 25 reps to do. You do smash through them quite quickly, so your rest is soon over. Throw the ball down, jump to your feet, run back to the start funnel and get your next 160-meter run done. Again, because that you are off your feet in that station, that run feels quite fresh. Coming back in now, it's station number 5, and it is the ski. Now the ski, very much like the row, I just kind of left it as it was when I got there and started to pull. Similarly, it was switched off when I got there, so a couple of skis to get it going. But once I'd settled into a routine, a sort of a rhythm, I think my pace on this one was a little bit slower than the row, and it was about 150, sometimes a 155. I think I'd finished it in just under 2 minutes, so happy with that. Didn't expend too much energy there before moving off onto the running track. Again, it's all about just keeping those knees high, keeping the cadence quick, just making those runs really a minimal part of the actual time overall. And then back into the farmer's carry. Now this was a bit peculiar because when I approached, there was a mixture of dumbbells and kettlebells, and I didn't know which ones to pick up. I went to go get dumbbells because that's what they normally use in Dekas, but I was directed to a set of kettlebells. I guess this was the men's weight, the 27 kilos. So I quickly grabbed them. It was 5 out and backs of a 10-meter track, so 100 meters total. And I sort of did this in like a figure of 8 or a circle. So you put 1 foot over each line in a bit of a circle motion, so you're not having to turn back quite jarring like. Back onto the running track, again keeping that bounce high, that cadence quick, and I was in and out of that one again really quite easily, and then into the next station. This is where I hit a bit of a roadblock. As I approached the air bikes, I could see that they both had people on them. But the quick thinking from my referee had me bypass the air bikes and go straight onto the tank push-pull. So that's what I did. So I immediately started to push. You pick up the TRX handles and you sort of get down low. And the tip to this one, just get really low. Small steps all the way. There's no point trying to rush this one because it's one of those bits of equipment that really takes it out of you. Just got to keep pushing, keep pulling. Just don't let it stop for anything. So once I'd finished with that, one last pull over the line and then straight back out onto the running track again. Coming to the end of the runs now, I take a look at my watch and I'm starting to see that we're over 20 minutes. So I know that my target time of 24:11 is right there. So I'm time to keep going, keep the tempo up, and now I'm back onto the air bike, the thing that I had just missed out on the first time round. So essentially those two bits of kit had just been swapped over. So the air bike is devastating. There's no two ways about it. This is a horrible piece of equipment. You've got 25 calories to do and it seems to take an eternity. Every ounce of strength and cardiovascular ability is gobbled up almost in the first couple of calories, and it is just about enduring the rest. It probably isn't that long a period of time, but in your own head it feels like an eternity. So back out for the next run, which brings me back to the wall ball overs. So I pick up my I think it's a sandbag, like a really heavy sandbag, like a cube almost, and I start throwing it over the shoulders. I try to alternate this because it's not a sphere, it's not a ball, it doesn't roll away, so it just hits the deck and stops, so it doesn't go too far. So you simply turn around, pick it up and do it again. I've seen people before now step backwards over it, but I just turned around and picked it up again. This is one of those exercises where I feel I could have gone a little bit harder in. So I worked through those quite quickly before returning for my very last run, and I remember picking my feet up on this one because I knew it was on. I only had like 90 seconds to get this run done and get these the station 10 burpees done, so I made sure that that last run was worthwhile. I came into station 10 and I picked up the ram. There was no confusion this time, and I went straight down onto my chest. The first 6, 7, 8 I bounced down, bounced up. It felt quite fast, quite dynamic, but these things really gas you, really tax you. So I was really struggling by about 10, and it being only 10 from the end and knowing you're close to your time, it just really pushes you to dig deep and find that extra 1% you need to get over the line. Before the end, I was having to bring my knees up just to give me that extra oomph, but I finally sort of got those last few reps done. I could hear everybody shouting around me. I could hear my family, I could hear my mother-in-law, I could hear my kids, I could hear my wife, I could hear strangers that knew me off the internet, my referee, all of them willing me to finish, and I did in 23:31. Yes, that is a solid 40 seconds faster than I did it last year. 40 seconds faster. I have just finished the Spartan DEKA Mile here at the Hampton Health and Fitness Club, and it went really well. Being outside, being a bit cooler, it just made for a more slick experience for me. Certainly for me, it just played to my strengths. A lot of outside running and being outside. I prefer to be in the fresh air than in a stuffy gym, so really played to my strengths. So my time, I'm just going to tell you it because I'm quite excited about it. 23:31. So that is nearly 40 seconds off of what I got this time last year. So to answer the question, I think I'm a little bit fitter this year, or I'm having a good day, or my nutrition is better. There's no way of really knowing, but I had a good day. It felt great. Right, I'm going to head back to the office and we will reflect a little bit there. So that was my Spartan DEKA Mile over at the Hampton Health and Fitness Club over in Solihull. Now, so let's first talk about how I did. I got a 23:31. This is a time that I didn't actually think I was going to get. And I think there was a few reasons why I actually did better than I thought. One, the entire event was outside. Now, sometimes when you attend these things and they're inside, it gets a little bit stuffy, there's no airflow and you can feel like you're suffocating. With the whole thing being outside, it lends itself to that outside running sensation. If you go outside and you do a lot of running outside, you get used to running outside. When you go inside again, like at a Hyrox event where the air is still and a bit thick, then you struggle a bit more. So when I went outside, it definitely felt more natural to be out there. It did feel a little bit weird with the ergs and the things out there, but I think because the weather was good, it made sense to sort of get outside and spread it all out. Certainly with regards to putting it in order of stations, so they had everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just made everything easier. With these things, you get given a judge and they follow you around, and the idea is that they go to the next station before you get back from your run, and they just keep an eye on your reps and your movement standards. And I had a great referee. He really helped me out. He gave me some great support as I went around, and that's really important sometimes, certainly when you're deep inside a pain cave, just having someone whisper something positive in your ear. I thought that was the end of it. I was all prepared to drive home, and as I walked into the gym at the end, they've got a big screen on and they've got the display with the times on. I was suddenly sitting in the #1 spot. What? Never in a million years have I ever seen my name at the top of one of these things, so I just kind of took a picture of it and went home. I know how these things normally pan out. The day is long, there's lots more competitors to go, and I just didn't know where I would end up. I was hoping for a top 5 or something like that. When I got home, I checked my phone, and two things was really, really important that I noticed when I got home. One, that I was still in the #1 spot, right at the top of the list. But number two, there was a fella that had matched my time. Someone from the younger age group in the 30s to 39s had in fact matched my time to the second, which put us in joint first. And because I think it's because I went first, that I remained actually on the top spot. But #1 is a #1, and congratulations to the other guy. Absolutely well done. I mean, he must have been leathering it just as fast as I was. So the things that I struggled on the day, I think some of the things I did improve on, like the step overs, I'd really worked on that technique, that little bounce and crouch over thing that people do. My lunges were perfect. I did struggle initially when I entered the lunges to know which RAM mine was, because there was 3. I had no idea which one to pick up, so I was I think I lost a couple of seconds there. But once I got into the rhythm, I smashed them out really very quickly. The runs were very consistent. I was fast on all of those, but where the wheels really fell off was the air bike. Right, you feel like you're on the air bike disproportionately long period of time. You're probably not. You're probably only on it for a couple of minutes, but it feels like an eternity, and it is a horrible place. I think it's exercise station 7. It's horrible. So yes, I think I would need to spend a little bit more time on those bikes, just getting a bit more acclimatized to that kind of feel, so I can do better. Now, on that, I do believe that I could have pushed harder. Retrospectively and reflecting on my performance, I do think that I should have pushed harder in some of those stations. I could probably have gone faster in the farmer's carry and the sled push-pull. I definitely think I could have saved more seconds there. But, you know, there's always room for improvement. All I can do is take this stuff back to the gym and hopefully come back stronger and, you know, really aim for the 22-minute mark. That would be absolutely fantastic to go sub 23 at something like this. Right, so I just want to say that I think that these events are massively undersubscribed. They're very accessible. You see people of all ages, all abilities, all body types, both genders, and you see them, people as old as in their 60s, just absolutely smashing it, and it's hard not to be inspired by that level of participation. But then there's much fewer people take part in these, and I think that's really unfair. I think this is where we need, as a hybrid fitness community, to spend more of our time, more of our money, to keep this going, to make it more popular, not just to aim at Hyroxes all the time and big arena-based events. Let's really get in and support these local gyms, because it's such a fantastic thing to be a part of. Don't think that you need to be an elite athlete to take part in these types of competitions. You absolutely don't. I've always said that the DEKA Mile is the 5K equivalent of running to the hybrid fitness world. It takes 23 to 30 minutes for a lot of people. If you know, it can take 40 minutes for some, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, just get signed up. They don't cost anywhere near as much as the big events. I think you can get them for £40–50, and if you book early, I think it costs a little bit less. They're really worth going to, and if you do all 3 in a year, the strong, the mile, and the fit, you get a 3-part segment, a little bit like they do in Spartan races. You can earn yourself the trifecta. So on that, this is the medal that you get given for this year. They change each year. Let's just get that a bit closer so you can see it. And like with all Spartan events, you get a t-shirt as well. So you do get quite a lot of value for money. Would I do this one again at this place? Yes, absolutely. This was a perfect example. Everything ran to clockwork. It was on time. It was all done and dusted inside of 25 minutes. I have absolutely no complaints about the Hampton Health and Fitness Club. They put on a great event. With regards to what I'm doing next, I think I need to get the other segments sorted. If you look behind me, I've got trifectas galore back here, so I'm very keen to go and do a strong, and I'm already booked on to do the fit at Derby in September. So by the end of this year, this will be complete. Hopefully I can go to those events just as fit as I am in this one. So thank you very much for watching this far. Well done to all the athletes that competed in DEKA events and the ones that were there at the Hampton Health and Fitness Club. Wonderful to see some of you and say hello to some of the people that recognised me off of TubeTube. Okay, so that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please go and get yourself booked onto a Spartan DEKA Mile. You will not regret it. It's a great crack. All right, give the channel a subscribe. It's down here, little button. It costs you nothing and it makes me happy. So thank you, and I will see you in my next video soon. All right, Mart out.